Hello Egg Chasers, it's our Facebook Live here at the AJ Bell Stadium on this, which is frankly a wonderful Salford evening. Tonight our northern hospitality has been extended to our Irish friends as Sale Sharks battle to remain in Europe. This is Sale Sharks Live. Welcome to this. It is a European Cup quarter-final. Not any quarter-final, mind. It's Sale Sharks versus Connacht at 7:45 kickoff. Sale have actually won this competition twice before, but back then it was the Parker Pen Shield. And also they had players like Mark Cueto, Jason Robinson, Sebastian Chabal, all club legends. Now it's time for the next generation of Sharks to step up. And do you know what? I actually think that John O'Ross and his team are the guys to do it. But don't worry, you're not just stuck with me all night, because I'm joined by my good friend Joe. Joe, how are you?
I'm very, very excited for the day, the occasion ahead. Look at the sun in the sky. That was settled before the big kick-off, but we will be joined in the studio by some Sale Sharks legends. You've got Sammy T, Johnny Leota and Marlon Jard, as well as our sports psychologist, Martin Robert Hall. We are streaming live, and you can get your questions in nice and early so I can read them to the gentlemen. Any question you want, keep it clean, Mum. I know you're watching. Make sure you get your questions in nice and early so don't miss them. But I'm so excited. Big game, big occasion, and I'm absolutely buzzing to be here.
What are the social channels, Joe?
The social channels are Facebook, YouTube, and we're on Twitter. Use the hashtag SaleSharksLive. Just search Sale Sharks wherever you want on the internet. Get on Google. Mum, I know you're probably struggling. Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you like Sale Sharks as well and give us a subscribe. Just excited to be here. I can imagine that that the occasion is getting to the players now as they're rocking up to this beautiful day. The AJ Bell Stadium looking gorgeous, JB. How do you think the game is going to go tonight, mate?
Interesting, because I actually think that you've got two contrasting teams here. I definitely think Sale have the more talented squad. I think Connacht are the more settled team. So on balance, it's going to be really even. Coin flip, give me Sale just because of the talent and also because of the bench available, which is mega.
So you're saying straight away, the JB said it, a Sale Sharks win on this wonderful day. We're obviously going to have some chat with some Sale Sharks legends. So I want to know basically about what they're feeling ahead of the game tonight. You know, the occasion is definitely going to be settling in now. And I just want to make sure that we watching, get the most out of the legends we've got in the studio.
Awesome, mate. Right. Well, I'll let you get on with that. Now, for those of you that pay attention, you will know that this is not the first time that Sale and Connacht have actually met this season. And we were fortunate enough to meet up with Steve Diamond and his team in Carrington this week to work out exactly what it takes to beat a familiar foe.
Oh, 5 minutes to go, lads.
Let's receive this kick-off, lads, and get the drive on.
Look at the scoreboard, it was a good performance. You know, it was a wet, greasy night. We scored some nice tries. You know, we were dominant that night. I thought that they were pretty poor, so I don't want to get too carried away. I thought Bordeaux were pretty poor and probably reflected our second game against them where we got beaten at home, probably underestimated them a little bit and their mentality weren't right. We certainly won't underestimate Connacht this week. Our mentality has got to be really right with our attitude.
We've all worked hard to get to this point now, so we don't want to waste kind of the efforts we've already put in throughout the season. And European quarter-final, it's a big stage. There should be a big crowd there on Friday, and we've really got to use our home advantage and use the support and try and get us to that semi-final. But we've played Connacht. You know, they beat us once this year, we've beaten them, so we know they're a tough challenge.
I had a great 3 years at Connacht. I think one of the big things with Connacht rugby is that they're out there in the west of Ireland and they have a little bit of a siege mentality. They've made massive strides since I've been there. You know, the club's really grown from winning the Pro 12, Pro 14 I should say. And you know, they've got some quality players and they play a great brand of rugby under Andy Friend. And you know, I have a mate, Andy Farrell, who's working with Ireland now and talks very highly of how they do things.
It's going to be tough. They're going to come, you know, they probably had a bit more rest time than us. We've been playing kind of through the Six Nations period, and where their international had got a rest last week, so it'll be a tough game for us. We know it will be, so but one we're looking forward to.
This week, probably, you know, quarter final. You know, it's going to be a really tough slog, especially around that breakdown contact area.
You wanted to know how a professional team prepares? Well, now you know, and more of that later. Now, we were meant to be joined by Simon Orange, but the Salford traffic seems to have got the better of him. Hopefully, he'll be around later. Joe, what exactly are you most looking forward to talking about with Johnny and the boys?
I want to know about the occasion itself. Obviously, we mentioned a lot about it, but when the whistle goes, what is the mindset of the players? Now, we've got our sports psychologist, Martin Robert Hall. Hopefully, we can pick his brains about what the actual players should be doing now, the focus of the players. I mean, let's talk about AJ McGinty. He was a player that is much focus on. There's so many characters in a big occasion like this. There's so many characters for both teams. What are they thinking? If the pressure's on the shoulders, how do they cope with it? And I'm sure that they'll be able to give us that personal experience that I'm sure you're looking forward to hearing about, because you know this is such an amazing occasion, and we talk about who is going to stand out. Who do you think will stand out, JB, or who needs a game to really up the ante today?
Yeah, you mentioned AJ McGinty. Now this is really interesting. Oh, hang on a second. We're joined by Simon Orange. Simon, how are you?
I'm well, thank you, JB. How are you?
Very well. How was the traffic?
It was fine actually. I wasn't told to be here at 6:05, so it's been lucky timing.
So, first question for you, I guess. I mean, the thing which I love about watching you watch Sale Sharks is your enthusiasm. How do you separate the enthusiasm for something you obviously love with the cold, hard business of running a sports team?
Well, I think you can do both. I think you've got to make good decisions in any business, and this is no different. But you can't do anything while you're watching the game other than get excited or get stressed or get happy or get sad.
Yeah, now, Sale are building something here. We can see block by block things are coming together. Now, if I was a fan and I'm thinking I'm just not too sure about coming down yet, what would your message be to them to get them down to the AJ Bell?
Well, we've fixed a lot of the problems the AJ Bell's had in the past. We've worked a lot on the roads and the new bridges in place. So I think getting in and out now is as good as anywhere where you've got a sporting fixture. And we're putting a squad together to challenge for the title. I think I'll be disappointed if we're not in top six this year, but with the additions we're making, I'll be disappointed if we're not in the playoffs and not in the finals if not winning it in the next 2 years. So. Come and support a local team that's going to do well. And
also playing a marvellous brand of rugby, it must be said.
Yeah, fast and entertaining watch, isn't he?
Yeah, you must wonder what you did to deserve a guy like Faf, because he came over, he was heralded, but actually he's really blossomed here.
Yeah, he has. I think he got left out of the South African squad. I don't know if it was all to do with form or anything. I think it might be to do with their policies they've got in place. But yeah, he's absolutely played brilliantly here. I think we've brought the best out of him. He's bringing the best out of us. He's loving it here, and Dimes does a great job with the lads, and hopefully it'll continue. And they're all signing on, so it looks that way.
Now, if we win tonight, when we win tonight. The options are Bristol at home, another great evening, another great evening like tonight, or an away trip to La Rochelle. Which would you personally prefer as a fan?
As a fan, I think a trip to La Rochelle would be great, but as a business owner, I promise you I'd rather be playing Bristol at home.
La Rochelle for me. Simon, thank you very much.
No problem. Cheers, JB.
Cheers. Now, for many rugby clubs, rugby is only part part of the equation, and Sale Sharks is no different. The Sharks Community Trust is helping veterans and fighting men and women reintegrate back into everyday life. I was fortunate enough this week to meet up with rifleman Craig Monaghan and talk about how he's expanding the Sale Sharks family to the bravest and best the Northwest has to offer. Tell me about the Sharks Forces Trust.
So the Sharks Forces side of the trust was a project that sort of like got built. We're in our 3rd year now, so we're like, call it 2 years running. It's growing, the sport's growing, the funding's growing, the sponsorship's growing, everything's just growing, and it's sort of, again, I've added value to that. So since I've sort of joined, I'm obviously aware we just ended a war, a lot of lads with hearing issues.
Is it a lot of military lads that are there?
So we've had since I've pushed it in the military channels through Sharks Forces, through whatever I can get my hands on. We've had an 80% increase in Forces personnel, which is massive.
Yeah.
Mainly hits the transition side of the military. Obviously, it helps through the rugby being one of the main sports in the army. Obviously, massively helps, and then using that and using the power, obviously, the Sale Sharks brand and stuff is sort of been massively influential in sort of helping them sort of guys transition. Like veterans fall in the routine of getting up, going to work, coming home, going to bed. You can't do that. That's just the bottom line of it. You've got to have more to your life than that, because that's what the military is.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned something really interesting. I don't think you mentioned it on mic actually, but when you leave, you sort of get a bit lazy because you're not being told what to do.
That's pretty much why we started the dog walks. So when you leave, a lot of us become lazy. We've been told to get up for 7 a.m. and train every day, and we can't do that. Do you know what I mean? Can't do that. But fitness just drops off. People become lazy. So what we aim to do is to not become lazy. So we've put on dog walks. So it's low impact. It's getting out in the fresh air first thing in the morning, early afternoon. It's walking around. It's talking to each other. It's just being who you are. And it's a laugh. You can bring your dog as well, which is even fun.
Yeah. Tell me about your partners. Who
we've been working over the past. Obviously, the Army's charity, so the Soldiers' charity, or the Army Benevolent Fund is known more publicly. They're one of the biggest partners. Walking with the Wounded helped us. British Legion have helped us in the past. Things like housing wise, obviously Walking with the Wounded being biggest houses, Devoted Housing being big housing place. Mawson, obviously it helps that the owner of Mawson is co-owner of the club. They're really keen with us. Just simple links, and even though City United have dabbled in it and people will bang on about other initiatives in the area, but no one's really doing it like we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And we came on with an idea that it'd be workshops and we'll get people all singing and dancing. We came up with the idea we're going to be a community. We're not afraid to signpost. My view, which has been emulated across the trust, is I don't care where the veteran gets the help, as long as they get the help.
Well, I'm here with the man himself, Craig. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Good. Now, before we get into the serious stuff, because we've got to do the serious stuff at some point, first question, you're playing tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm starting at 9 for England Deaf in Bromley, so that should be quite a tasty day.
Awesome. I always assumed that you'd be playing wing, because of your quality hamstrings.
That would be it. It's all about as if you. It's all about the hamstrings. England made a decision about a year ago to put me at 9, probably because I'm just so short. Probably the main reason being. So literally, once I finish this interview, staying till half time, and then driving straight down to London tonight. So,
you got some particularly good chippy lines for your opposition number.
Well, what I was going to say, I can't say. So, I'm just going to outplay him. It's just.
Well, now for the serious stuff. First of all, congratulations with Sharks Forces. It's an awesome thing to be doing. Just give us a bit more information about the programme.
So the programme's now entering its third year. This year we're funded by Soldiers' Charity and the Armed Forces Covenant, and we've grown in staff. So we've now got a part-time member of staff who's helping me out and sort of some of the more like admin side, and one of the biggest things we've sort of also faced over the last couple of years is veterans actually not wanting to speak to a veteran. So because I'm such a complex veteran, and obviously I'm very loyal to the army in terms of my transition was really good, that some veterans do find it hard to come towards me and approaching me, just simply because they feel like their problems might not be as great as mine, or they compare themselves to sort of the how complex it was sort of how complex it was for me to sort of come out and go through what I did. And I think that sort of was a barrier we probably faced in the first 2 years, was the veterans just felt like they compare them, and it's not comparable. My problems, mine, and theirs are theirs, and that's that. But so we brought India on board as a civilian, playing sort of straight up civilian, no links to the army, and she's just there as an extra person, and also sort of probably to rein me in a bit, like, so can be a bit loose at times.
Have you been surprised by the volume of interest that you've received? Yeah,
massively. It's always shocked me. Like, you come in and when you come into this game, like I'd never had experience other than obviously what we spoke about in previous times. The only experience I really had of the normal life outside of the military was sport. So sort of to enter a charity game and sort of like try and build something and take it off the ground. First of all, I didn't even know I had like that sort of much respect in the veteran community, and then sort of that probably obviously did help carry me to an extent. And then from that, then the history and what the brand has done in terms of Sale Sharks, what that's brought to the game is just unreal. Like we're the only ones doing it. So,
how does rugby and what you're doing mesh? I mean, do you see a natural source of synergy between armed forces and the sport that we're involved in?
Yeah, definitely. Well, obviously the Army's main game. The Army's main game is rugby union, which is compulsory to go down and watch rugby union when you're in battalion. At the time, like it sort of is what it is at that point. But certainly the lifestyles, a rugby player's lifestyle and a soldier's lifestyle, are very similar in terms of a rugby player are so focused, they're so bang on it and stuff, and sport in general, like you're that focused that. If you're going to go out and do something, you're going to go out and completely do it. You're going to hit it full on. And a soldier's life, just like that, is you're just going to go out and you're just going to smash through it. And that's pretty much how them two can interlink so well.
Awesome, Craig. Thank you very much. There we go. Now, time for something a little bit more game centric. Rugby is a complex game, and tackling is very important. So we could have made you a video about tackling and how to do it properly, or we could have unleashed Joe Jones' 19-stone tight head prop onto the Sale Sharks commercial staff. Guess which one we did?
So welcome to the virtual tackle. Should take you over here. Just don't mind standing here for me for a moment and putting this tackle suit on, just for precautions. And welcome to the virtual tackle. Just do a favour, just stand here and put that on for me. So, just in case of motion sickness and stuff like that. Just get that for you. Oh, you've played a bit of rugby before, yeah? You're a bit handy, I believe. Who did you play for? Oh, sandbags. All right, brilliant. So just in case you fall over, we've just got the safety precautions. So you've never played rugby before, no? So just face that way for me. Put these on. Just the first thing we're going to do. Just do that around. Right, I'm going to set you up. Okay, so turn this way. You can't see my hand underneath or anything. No, right, let me just make sure that's right. Get that set up. Good, and then this side, right, so Eric's just going to calibrate first, so if you just look down for me. Yeah. Is that okay, Eric? Yeah? Okay, now look up. Okay, great, now just keep stepping, just head right, look left. Look right. Okay, good. Okay, so you should be seeing an image on screen now. Yeah. Everybody all play it? Okay. Ready? Thanks for that. So Nick, can you just look up first? Keep looking up. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, look down. Yeah. Okay, good. Look left. Okay, and look right. Okay, looking straight ahead, you should start seeing the video any moment now. What do you want to do? Just look at the video and you should start playing the video.
I'm supposed to be in the box? Thanks, mate. Appreciate that.
Just reset. Okay, no worries.
Good stuff, but now time for something a little bit more nuanced, which is why I'm joined by the thinking man's thinking man, a strategic guru and a high-functioning analytical savant. It's Hugh Jenner. Hugh, how are you?
I'm great, yeah, thank you very much for the introduction.
Oh, I literally spent weeks writing it. So there are many glamorous roles in a rugby union team. Analyst might not be one of them, but it's certainly one of the most important. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about what you do on a weekly basis?
Yeah, so the week revolves around sort of previewing, reviewing and live work during games. So in a week we will, say for Connacht this week, we've watched three games to preview the opposition. And then we've also watched our last 2 games against them because it's handy that we've played against them obviously already. So we've gone through that probably 2 weeks ago, really going through all the detail, seeing what plays they run, what plays we could run against them. So we've gone through all the detail there. Once we've got that all together, the coaches watch that as well. Once we've got all that together, we'll pick out the really salient points to show the players in meetings, and then obviously try and whatever we've thought about there, we'll try and get into the training. So our non-23 will run as Connacht and they'll run Connacht's plays against us. Yeah. So we really try and mimic what we've learned from the video into a training session.
That's really interesting. So do you go as far as to kind of get, for want of a better word, a second string 15 to do Connacht stuff?
Yeah, no, absolutely that. We might even bib up certain players to mimic certain other players. So like Bundy Aki tonight might have been bibbed up just so we're aware.
Who is our most Bundy Aki-like player?
Probably Johnny Leota, who got on tonight, yeah, but unfortunately he's hurt his hand, so I can't remember who had it. I think we had Cam Redpath on it this week, so similar skill, but maybe not a similar frame. But
now, when you've played a team twice before, is there a danger of familiarity breeding contempt?
Probably not, because we're very used to it with the league that we play teams multiple times. So each time we preview a team, we'll make sure we look at it with fresh eyes and don't just presume they're running exactly the same as they were running the first time we watched them. So it's really important to watch everything again, fresh, and just make sure they haven't changed anything that they're running or how they're defending in the backfield, say, for instance. So.
Yeah, I imagine it's a lot of second guessing and then second guessing yourself again.
Yeah, no, it could be, yeah. But like I said, as long as you watch all the detail and you're real clear with what you've watched and what you want to put across to the players, then you should be all right. So, yeah.
What are the sort of details that you like to look out for when you're doing your analysis?
So we'll look at both sides of the ball, obviously attack and defence. But say for attack, we might look at how they set up off line-outs, who's sort of at the tail of line-out, who's holding the channel. There might be weaknesses around there with plays we might be able to put on. Say they just leave their 9 in the channel and the front prop commits to the drive. There might be options to go down that short side, or in the backfield they might play a system we call 2s up, where there's plenty of spaces for kick stuff. And then when we're looking at defensively, we just look at what plays they run and sort of what phase plays, shape they run as well.
Sorry, now you spend an awful lot of time doing this, doing your strategy, creating information. Are all the players really quite receptive to this, or do they have their own opinions on what should be happening?
Yeah, well, that varies quite a bit. But to be fair, they are a really receptive bunch, and the younger guys coming through, they've always been brought up with this way of analysis. Our academy have all got Huddle. We use Huddle, which is a great bit of software. It just shares our video around. So the younger players that come up through now, we've noticed they're really switched on with analysis. And they're really keen to learn. And obviously players that come in from overseas are used to sort of different levels of analysis, which might be a little bit different to what we do in England. So they're kind of keen to see what we do and jump on board with the processes we put in place. Yeah.
That's absolutely awesome. Hugh, good luck tonight. Right, well, we went to Carrington earlier on this week to see Hugh's applied science in action.
Obviously, with it being a short turnaround, the boys yesterday would have done a bit of recovery on their own, a bit of swimming, a bit of stretching, a bit of dog walking, whatever it might be. And then today they've just been in the gym. The lads who played long minutes have done a recovery session, and then the boys who haven't played long minutes have done weights, and they're just walking through now, just walking through some team shape. It'll be a 20-minute session, it won't be long.
Coming straight to you now because maybe right.
Just have to cut training down a fair bit. Obviously the boys have played on Saturday and it's sort of a late kick-off, so they've not had much time to recover. So within the week we'd like to sort of do 2, 3 or maybe even 4 if we had a longer turnaround sessions. This week we're literally walking through today, and then we've got a unit session in the morning which will be detailed forwards and backs, and then an afternoon session. That'll be pretty much it with the captain's run on Friday.
Tomorrow will be a bit more physical, a bit more contact.
It will be, yeah, it will be. The forwards will come out and hit the scrum machine, they'll do a bit of line-out work, the backs will run the shape, and then in the afternoon will be our defence session, which is obviously more of a tastier session.
They're a really good team, and we learned that both when they were here and we played them away. Obviously, we played them a few times now this year, and we know that they got some quality players and they're a really hard-working outfit, so we're expecting a real tough challenge. Results, they were really tough when we played in Galway, and they were good here at the AJ Bell. It's a quarter-final, and they'll be coming here hoping that they can get a win.
Yeah, they've just got to hang around a lot longer all day. Get more nutrition. Obviously, with the early kick-off, there's limited sort of 1-2 meals. With an evening kick-off, they'll have 3 or 4 meals during the day. Make sure they're nice and carved up for kick-off come 8 o'clock.
Convinced we're on the right track. What we need is 100% buy-in.
Lovely to see the boys training hard for such an occasion like today. And look at us in the studio. Look, we've got the smartest studio going. We've got Sale Sharks hero, 125 appearances, Johnny Leota. Hello, Johnny. Good evening.
Good.
Are you okay? Okay, Johnny. How is the arm? Look at that.
It's not too bad, obviously. It's only been 2 weeks post-off and got another 3 weeks of it on, so can't wait to get it off.
Can we show the camera the drawing? Did you do that yourself?
And that was my son. He's big into bendy and the ink machine, so I told him if he could practice for a week, he can draw me a little tattoo on my cast.
Sam, I thought that could be your drum there. Sammy T as well, who was here. We are having a chat all before this amazing occasion today. Thank you very much for joining us. It's such a big moment for the Sale Sharks players. Do you miss like the opportunity to go on the pitch, play this game, or are you good? Are we good here? You all right here? No. You're not going to be watching from the stands wanting to come on, are you?
Yeah, mate. You know, you always miss these sort of games, and especially being part of the Sale Sharks and be here tonight to be able to watch the boys. It's massive, and especially with the crowd that's going to be turning up tonight. It's something that I'll miss. And you know, hopefully I can get down to more games.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to pick the brains of this man over here, Martin Robert Hall, our sports psychologist. So he knows, he thinks he knows what you two are thinking, which should be good to get into. Martin, thank you very much for joining us. I mean, the focus is really on the occasion itself, because it's such a big quarter-final match. The opportunity for these players now, what can come next is a semi-final and the final. You know, the idea of putting their hands on the trophy is really alive. Do you think the players will let that get to them, or what do you think about the pressure, Mark?
Well, it affects everybody differently. Different personalities will think about it in different ways. Ultimately, you want everybody in the change room tonight just being clear and focused on the game, not thinking about the future, not thinking about the past. Maybe some of them are thinking about the game plan, their specific role in the team, what they're going to be carrying out, but you want them in a confident mindset. Yes. And yes, of course, the ultimate glory is they want to get to the final, but you don't want the minds there tonight.
We are streaming on Facebook and YouTube. People are watching us around the world, so say hello. You can get involved into the action. Use hashtag #SharksLive wherever you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. Make sure you be a part of today's big game. And you can ask these boys any questions you want. Is that all right if the viewers at home can ask some questions? Martin then mentioned about the focus being on just this game. Were you like that, Sam, or did you allow yourself to think about the other games?
To be honest, I'm sort of quite a relaxed sort of person. Yeah. So I could be thinking about other things before leading up to the game. But as soon as I get into the changing rooms and all that, it was literally I was focused on the task that was on hand. Yeah. And obviously taking things play by play as well, and not sort of taking too much sort of the negative out of the game. It's sort of just always, for me, I'm always thinking positive. What can I do better? What can I tell the boys for them to do better? For me, it was always sort of step by step, but also being positive at the same time.
About relationships as well, because I wonder what is the relationship like in the change room, Sam and Johnny? What are you two like together before a big game like this? Is there any sort of getting you ahead of the game?
I'm always big spoon. He's always
if anything goes by tonight, they're just laughing and joking and winding each other up. And you know, sometimes you need that, though, don't you? Just it creates people being relaxed, a relaxed atmosphere. Just and that's really important as well.
I think also you got to understand like other people are different as well. So you got to know when the best time to do it and when the best time isn't, and make sure you distance yourself away from those who sort of more focused.
Yes. So did you have people like in the change rooms who just wanted to be by themselves, zoned out, maybe music on? Was that you, Johnny?
No, I'm quite similar to Sam, where I like just to relax. Sometimes we do joke quite a bit, but that's in our own little space. So we try to take ourselves away from everyone's preparation, because like you said, everyone preps differently. Yeah. And so we have to respect it as teammates and allow them to do that. But for us, personally, we like to sort of just stay relaxed. And like you said, when the whistle blows, that's when the game's on.
There's the game's on. And not just any game, a European game. Sam, can you talk to us about what, like, for anyone who's watching and doesn't understand the differences between these games, that Europe is such a big thing for Rugby Union now and for Sale Sharks. Does this game hold more pressure for the players?
I'd say, well, yeah, of course, because it gives us the opportunity to be able to play in big games like the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and for some of the young boys that have never played in such, finals rugby, it's a good opportunity for them, but also it's a good opportunity for the club to get their momentum going into the back end of the Premiership.
Yes, it is. And how much do you guys look at your opposition? Because there's also much about you focusing, but what about you guys and looking over, seeing, who are we against today? What are the opposition going to be like?
For me, I just like to start my preparation start of the week. So if I know we're playing Exeter, I'll look at the midfielders and the combinations that could possibly be in that weekend. So by the time it comes to that weekend, I'm quite comfortable and I know what they're going to do or what their strengths and weaknesses are. So just preparation for the week for me.
Yeah, Mike, because I was just wondering about that, because you've obviously got yourself to focus on, but then you've got the opposition. Do you think it gets to people if they look at the opposition too much? Should they focus on them? Should they find the weaknesses?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good idea to know who you're playing against, know the ins and outs of the game. I always think that the balance should be 75-25. Watch the opposition, but 75% of your focus should be on what you can do and what you can control. When you come to match day, you can't control what someone else is going to do. You can't control anything outside of yourself. And you can influence your teammates, the opposition, you don't know what they're going to do. No matter how much analysis and research you do on the day, anything can come up.
Anything can come up. Yeah. So what happens if something does stumble? If a player or a person who's got an occasion like today has a plan in their head, and if something happens that knocks their plan out, what is that like as a sportsman? What happens then? Does it put them off, or can they regain focus?
Well, I think two things. Again, it comes down to the individual. What's their personality? What's their level of experience? Have they been in that situation before? So they've got a reset trigger which they know how to access. but then really you're looking for your teammates. What the senior players, that's the role of the senior player. The senior players looking outside of themselves as well, to looking after the teammates, and that's when you need somebody just to maybe have a word, or just try and get you back focused on the game if something's happened. And so that's team sport.
Bundy Aki, we're going to actually just have a quick look at him. If you're on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, the characters of the game, how do you think someone like that will be looking on today? Because it is such a, you can see him there training, he's in the zone, he's warming up. We just saw him down there. He looks like he's in the zone. Do you look at, when you were in the team, your key players, and you say, I know obviously you were the keyest player, you were the best players in there, I know you like Johnny and Sam, you'd rocked in, but what about if you saw a player that you think he could win us the game today? Did you keep an eye on them sort of players ever and go, I hope he's all right, I hope today he feels it?
Yeah, well, you always had those couple of players that you always sort of, you sort of keep an eye on them, and those are the guys that you sort of, a lot of the boys in the team, they sort of look up to try and make that key break to be able to give the team the inspiration to sort of kick on and all that. But sometimes you got to take it on yourself. You're not always waiting for those guys to make those marks. For me, it's all about you got to worry about yourself. You got to make that key and make the others follow you instead of you following others.
Yeah, indeed. What about the opportunities that the young players have in the squad? Do they look up to you? I mean, I'm not saying you're old, Sam, please, I'm not saying that. But when you were coming to those parts of your game, did any of the youngsters come to you and say, I'm maybe a bit nervous, or, look up to you and have that reassurance from you that everything's going to be all right?
Yeah, well, especially in games like this, I tend to, like all the younger boys and that, I tend to have a word with them before sort of coming into the change room, and and just tell them, just reassure them they're in the team for a reason, and they're obviously playing because obviously they're doing something right, and for them it's just about relaxing and just carry on doing what they've been doing all season, because at the end of the day it's just another game, it's just another 15 players out there on the other side that you're playing against.
Ronnie, did you have that sort of someone to look up to, someone to ask or just get some advice if you needed it?
It's not the tallest person, so he was looked up to everyone else, of course he did.
So obviously being outside Sammy, it was actually quite nice to watch what he does, because he's just a natural leader, and obviously what he does, he leads by example, and he does all his talking. He does a lot of talking off field, but he also does a lot of talking on field with his actions. So to have someone on the inside of him, seeing him smash people, the big carries he does, is sort of something you can vibe off with the rest of the team, and sort of gives us a bit of, well, how would you say it, a bit of fizz for the game. So.
Yeah, I like that. Right, what is that relationship like between the young players going into the squad and the older players who are more relaxed in a big game like this? Is that a key relationship to have?
Well, I think so. I think, again, it comes down to the senior players looking out for them, because my experience, younger players coming into a squad, it's not necessarily within people's nature or to go and seek out advice, to go and express that I may be feeling nervous, I may be having some doubts. Everyone goes through that in their career at some point, and actually they may be feeling some of that on the inside, keeping it from people. Senior player goes over, has a word, like Sammy said he did, before they come into the changing rooms, before the moment, and just checks in with them, and that's key. And I think for the younger players that really makes them feel then at ease, and they've got the backing of the teammates.
Yeah, like I say, we are here on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Get on Twitter, use the hashtag SharksLive. Make sure you get your comments in. I'll be getting to them soon. So if you've got any questions for these gents, make sure you get them now so we can ask them come the end of the show. The big occasion like this and the big sort of atmosphere that we create. We're looking at the fans now. When you played in these games, did the fans play a big part of it? Did they pick you up when you needed it, give you that lift, or even just coming out into such an atmosphere like hopefully we'll get today?
For me, it was more the crowd that was on this side of here, who had the drums on that, and they had the drums and that banging and all that, and it was really good. And then after the game, there was a couple of guys there who had their own sort of mix of vodkas, their homebrew vodkas and that. And that was one of the special moments I always enjoyed, is having a little sip of that after the game. After a good victory, and a well-deserved drink.
Oh, yeah. Will it be a well-deserved drink? We'll get your predictions later on. John, did you like that? Did you like the atmosphere that you got?
Yeah, I just enjoy connecting with the fans in general, because when you do play on the field, you actually know who you're playing for, and to have that connection with the fans is what sort of drives you to push on when times get dark on the field.
Yeah, indeed.
They call it the 12th man, don't they?
Yeah.
It's,
or the 16th,
or the 16th man, or the 18th. But the crowd does have an impact, without a doubt. It's just a collective energy of people, and I think for a lot of the time, when you're on the pitch, you're focused just on your job. You're aware of it, but it's in the background. Yeah. But you certainly can feel it. Exactly. You know, and you can hear the noise, and definitely it feeds the energy of the team. Yeah, indeed.
Did anyone ever, the kids and all that have here today, they look up to you as someone that, you know, they want to be rugby union stars, they want to be future Sale Sharks heroes. When you see them on the touchlines, you give them any, go over, shake their hands, take pictures. Do you like that side of it when you can give encouragement back to the fans?
Yeah, no, exactly, especially when you run out and you're holding a couple of kids' hands and they're running out with them, and just seeing their face is just priceless, and it's just those special moments that you enjoy, the reason why you play with the game of rugby, and to be able to see those kids and that, and to, you know, obviously afterwards and that, when they come over and ask for the autograph afterwards, it's just priceless, and it's something that I would cherish for the rest of my life. Johnny?
Yeah, we were once to those kids, so, you know, to give them that happiness that we got when we were younger, there's no better feeling.
Yeah, indeed. We need to get the fans as loud as possible, so if you're watching this on the way here, make sure you do. Right, so we're talking to fans and their support. Sam, we heard you are retiring. Sam is retiring, so we're upset. But it's not just us that are upset. We've got some special messages for you from some of the Sale Sharks fans that we want you to watch now on that screen. Let's get some messages on board.
Good luck, Sammy T.
Good luck then, Sammy T.
Sammy T.
Good luck, Sammy!
Good luck, Sammy T. Good luck, Sammy T.
Good luck, Sammy T. Best of health in your retirement.
Yeah, nice one, Sammy. He's done well for our club. He's been in our club about 10 years, something like that. Wish you all the best.
Good luck, Sam. Sammy T, and best of luck in your future. No matter where you're going to go. We've done some good times for Sale, and we've appreciated it all the time.
Yeah, good luck on your retirement, Sammy! Hooray!
Thanks for so much enjoyment, Sammy. Good luck.
Okay, good luck, Sammy T, in the retirement. Fantastic seeing you play here at Sale. All the best for the future.
Good luck, Sammy. All the best.
Good luck, Sammy T. All the best for your retirement.
Good luck, Sammy T. All the best, lad.
Good luck, Sammy, with your retirement and whatever you're doing next, and we'll see you around the club when you're next in.
Good luck, Sammy T. Good luck, Sammy T. I don't know who you are, but good luck to you. All the best.
The chip putty woman, she's pretending she doesn't know you. She called you Sammy C, but it's something to do with you there.
Well, I don't know, because
Sammy C, you later, she.
Yeah, Sammy C. She didn't know.
She would. So let's talk about that. Oh, you're retiring. When did you make the decision in your head, and what was the process? Did you actually go, okay, look, listen, it's a sad time, but I'm going to have to, you know, hammer this?
Well, it was basically I sat down with the director of rugby at Coventry, and we had a chat about the next couple of years and that, and then went away and spoke to my business partner at the time, and he offered me an opportunity to start up a player agency company, and for me to run it, and for me, I think, as growing up and sort of growing in the rugby in Europe, that power welfare side has always been something that I've sort of wanted to work with, especially the PI boys, and to be given the opportunity to start up an agency and to help those boys with those sort of issue is something massive for me. So obviously rugby has always been a big part of me, and the coaching has always been the transition, and to see boys sort of come from, you know, from coaching them and seeing them strive and become good players is something that I get a kick out. But off the field, to be able to see someone strive even further off the rugby field, it will be an even more kick for me. So that's something that really sort of made me realise that maybe this is an opportunity for me to take.
And also as well, they've let you pick the playlist for today. These are all Sammy T's tunes you can hear.
Round of zero, isn't it?
Johnny, will you miss Sammy in the game? Will you miss him? Or, I mean...
Well, I know there's a lot of people that'll be happy that he's retired. I've played against a lot of players outside of Sammy, and just seeing their faces when they come around the corner and see him there. So.
What do you think about that then? Do you focus a lot when a sportsman retires? Is it difficult to have that transition?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I've worked with quite a few players that transitioning out of retirement. It's important to have a plan. I think you come into professional sport and there's a lot of structure, and you know what you're going to be doing day to day, week to week. You've got routine. And so it really is important. It's about, you can't switch off that ambition and the drive.
Yeah.
So what are you going to transition it into? Because otherwise you're just going to have all that energy locked up and no outlet. And you hear, there's a lot of stories now, a lot of cases, isn't there, of people getting to the end of a sports career and then just, either entering into, they've not got anything else to do, so some fall into depression. Some just, it's not having that routine, not having something, they're passionate about. Because actually, think of the excitement levels of professional sport. What's going to replace the thrill you get of winning a game of sport with the fans and everything? So it's a crucial part of it.
Thank you. And sorry to all the fans there. Wish you all the best. Should be, if you're watching live, you'll be out soon. We're both will. Johnny, you coming from Sim?
I'm going to watch my.
The big European game is tonight. That's why we're here on Sale Sharks Live. You can check us out on YouTube. Look at the pitch. We're going to get some predictions from these gentlemen about the game today. But first, we will go to the fans. This is what some fans thought about the games tonight, what the results might be. Take a look.
We're going to win. Simple, we win.
We've got a strong side. We'll have a strong side against Connacht. Hopefully we'll get Ashton back. Connacht will bring a good side as well, so both teams will be fighting.
Oh, it's always tight in rugby. Anything can happen, but they should win it. They should win it.
I think we'll win. I think we'll win by 1 try. Denny Solomon.
We'll win easily. Yeah, I think we'll get 2 tries, both scored by Denny.
I think it'll be 30-80 to Sharks.
I think it'll be very close because they are a good side. It'll be a very close game. I think we'll win.
There were some of the fans' predictions, so make sure you get your prediction in our Facebook Live and our YouTube Live. I'm joined with some lovely guests in the studio, but I'm hearing that JB is with Steve Diamond right now. We'll go and have a chat with them. Hello, JB, Steve.
Thanks, Joe. Well, I am delighted to be here with Steve Diamond right now. Steve, how are you?
Very good, thanks, John.
Now, this is one hell of a game to bring to bring AJ McGinty back for.
Well, he's fit. So if he'd have been fit last week, he'd have played then. But he's fully fit. He's gone through a week's training and stuff. So, yeah, played against his old team. So,
what differences do you expect AJ to make compared to what you were playing with Sam James?
Well, not a lot really. Sam gives us a few more options out wide, but AJ's a very competent 10. He controls the game. We play in the right areas, and sometimes we haven't been doing that as well as we could have been doing.
An unfortunate few results in the Premiership over the last few weeks. Does that put more emphasis on this competition now?
No, not really. I think we've won 2 out of 4 and we're sat in 6th in the league. So for us, it's we need to be in the Heineken Cup next year, and it's either this way or through the Premiership, one way or the other. Now,
looking at your team, you've got Strelsey and you've also got Curry on the bench. Are you looking for some impact late on in the game?
Well, I think sooner than late, really. I think Ben's playing really well, so he'll relieve one of the back rows after about 50-60 minutes, and Straussy we've got there to come on and be dominant with the ball in hand.
Now, we had a couple of words earlier with Simon Orange, and we were just speaking about European nights and the occasion as a whole. European nights, something which you look forward to?
Yeah, it's a different proposition than the league, with different opposition, so you prepare a little bit differently, and generally they're good games, so I think everyone's excited about what's on offer tonight.
And with Connacht, obviously we've faced them twice before. What have you learned from those two games?
Well, we've got to get our breakdown right. They're a difficult side to break down defensively. They're a good defending drive team, so we've got to play some rugby tonight, I think, if we're going to try and beat them.
Steve, thank you so much. Good luck tonight, and thank you for letting us be part of all this.
Thanks, Tom.
Take care.
Bye.
You've got to do something a bit different because, you know, they've seen kind of what line-outs we've run. We mix it up anyway, so there'll be certain things that are different. But we've got a good understanding of the overall structure that they play within, and they're probably the same with us. So it's about who's most clinical. There'll be no complacency. There's plenty of motivation for us this week.
There a sort of different feel about the club on big game weeks like this, quarter-final, obviously wanting to win some silverware this season, hopefully.
It's not just this weekend, obviously we're into a big run-in to the end of the season with every game counting. Every game's a massive game for us, and this really is like the icing on the cake, so to speak. But yeah, everybody's geared up for this. We want the victory, we want a semi-final place, and we want a final place up at Newcastle, where they're playing the finals this year.
Had a good turnout the last couple of Friday night games. The Saracens won over Christmas, and then Leicester at home a couple of weeks ago, and you know, it's beginning to feel like a bit of a special atmosphere at the AJ Bell on a Friday night. So I'm sure there'll be you know, the weather looks dry for Friday, so hopefully it'll be a good game of running rugby and plenty of exciting rugby for the fans to get behind.
Yeah, the Sharks fans are fantastic, whether we're at home or away, they're there and giving it their all. They're really supportive, and I know the boys really appreciate it, having them in every week. So they're fantastic, and we really appreciate them, and we look forward to seeing them down at the AJ Bell this weekend.
Can you sort of remember back to 2002 and 2005 down in Oxford, the club winning the competition?
To be honest, they were quite surprised at the lengths that we went to in the changing room, because it was basically similar to this with regards to getting the kit out, but we did do a little bit of extra where every player had an action picture of them from the season that we put up alongside their name. So there's a bit of personal effect added to it. Various coaches around the world have said it's the small things that make the big difference. Obviously we do try and sort of look at all angles with regards to player welfare, player prep for the game and that sort of thing.
Such an incredible occasion, and to have that such an incredible occasion. We've got Sammy T, and we've got Johnny, we've got Martin, who's our sports psychologist. The game is nearly here. The excitement is just really getting upon us. When you saw, just before the Road to Europe little trail there, what about the Steve Diamond chap? Steve, when he used to manage it before the games, did he just let you do your own thing? Was there a routine? And what would his words be before the game?
Well, literally he would just say his piece at the training ground. We would jump in the bus, and then if he felt we were too loose, he would let it rip. But besides that, he would just pretty much let the boys and that concentrate on themselves. Let them focus, let them sort of bring in their own vibes and all that. So
yeah, perfect. We have got to just go to pitch side. JB is with John O'Ross, so he's going to have a little chat with him. Hello, JB.
Thanks for that, Joe. Right, now that you realise the amount of work that goes into this, you can finally meet the man that's going to do the work. Leader of men, Sale Sharks captain, Johnny Ross. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thanks. Looking forward to this evening's game?
Yeah, it should be a good contest.
Now, you've already seen this team twice before. What are you expecting from them?
Yeah, we know they're a hard-working team with some key individuals within the side. They're a bit similar to ourselves in a lot of ways. I think they work hard and are a really good side, so we expect a tough challenge.
Now, one of the things that we're trying to get on this Facebook Live tonight is an insight into player preparation. What sort of things do you do before a game?
Nothing special really. Listen to a bit of music, get strapped, and make sure I'm in the right mindset for the game. I think certain guys might have superstitions and stuff like that, but personally I just try and make sure I'm in the right mindset before I go out to warm up.
And as a captain, do you go around, do you give anyone little pep talks, maybe for the younger players?
Yeah, from time to time you do that, but I think at this level most guys know what's expected of them, and most boys are professional enough to pitch up. But yeah, from time to time you give guys the odd words of advice and stuff, especially in things like tonight, maybe not to get overawed by the occasion, but you know, it should be a good one tonight.
And how do you enjoy knockout rugby compared to the week in, week out of the Premiership?
Yeah, it's obviously a slightly different pressure from what the Premiership is, so it should be enjoyable.
Right, well, get your boots on and good luck, mate. Right, back over to Joe and his compendium of guests.
Look where I am. I'm
hello,
right
mate.
here, JB.
What's this? How did that happen?
I ran very quickly.
You're out of breath.
I am, yeah, because I ran and I know what it's like to play rugby now, because I kind of did it on the pitch. I spoke to the gentlemen. We're not had time to get their predictions. Jono and Sammy, though, very positive about today's game, thinking Sale can get the win. Do you believe so, JB? Whilst I catch my breath.
Do I think they can get the win? Absolutely. I think if it goes late into the game, Sale are able to use their bench. Yeah, absolutely fine. Now, what were your interesting takeaways from the guys up in the studio?
What Martin said was about the pressure, and what Martin was talking about was about how the guys will be psyched for this game. Martin got into the mindset of the rugby player and just talked about what they should do before the game, how they should relax. He made sure that the rugby player was only going to focus on this 80 minutes. Now, you might want to get ahead of yourself and look to the semi-finals and the finals, but do not do that, Martin said. Martin said restrict it all back and just focus on what you've got to do this 80-minute time period. And that 8-minute time period is just the key, because if you allow yourself to focus on the semi-finals or the finals, you then get yourself into a completely different mind frame where you might let things slip in the game that happens today. If you let things slip in the game that happens today, then you can't even get to the semi-finals or the finals. You focus right now on winning. You focus on getting the points. You focus on your team. You focus on the way you should be playing, that you've been taught to be playing all week. The Steve Diamond tells you how it goes. That's what you need to do. That's how you need to focus. And I can imagine what they said was, Johnny and Sammy, that Steve does a little talk, Steve Diamond, who obviously you chat to, Steve does a little talk, and then that's it. The players allow themselves to get themselves focused. They don't need Steve Diamond anymore. Steve Diamond's done his job. Steve Diamond has made sure that all this week, everything is just clinical to this point. Steve, and then just lets them do their thing. And it's up to them as rugby players, it's up to them as individuals and a team to get together and win today. The occasion is so big, I can feel it around the ground. You've got to look already. We're early on. The HL Bell Stadium is slowly filling up, and it's going to be loud, it's going to be big, and the occasion is really going to get to the players. We just need to make sure they are focused and they understand what this doesn't mean to them or to the coaching staff that works here, or even to the security guards here, to the fans as well, everyone watching at home. Big moment for Sale, and you know what, I really, over the last hour, just watching how much this occasion means, I've got really, I'm buzzing, and I really need Sale to win. Come on, Sale.
Now, Joe, you're actually a bit of a football man. So after yeah, quite. After chatting to your panel, are you starting to feel that sort of infectious enthusiasm for the game?
I'm feeling very infectious enthusiasm. It's not just about the togetherness of what you need to do to win a rugby game. You can have individual star performances in different sports like football, but for rugby, you need to have that togetherness, that chemistry that runs throughout all 15 players, and that's really what they do. They just get themselves together, compact, and they just know that this is what we need to do to win. JB, and I really think that they've got it in the bag. When you speak to Steve then, now what kind of confidence did he give off? Did he think that he's going to get the win tonight? What do you think about that?
100% a win. Well, that's it from us. Hope you've enjoyed this edition of Sale Sharks Live. Boys kick off at at 7:45, and BT Sport will be with you all the way. Until then, well, let's hope that Sharks win. Come on, Sharks.